coronavirus. You know that, right? Coronavirus. They're politicizing it. It's their new hoax. The Democrat policy of open borders is a direct threat to the health and well-being of all Americans. Now, you see it with the coronavirus. You see it.
We have it totally under control. It's one person coming in from China.
We think we have it very well under control.
We pretty much shut it down coming in from China. You know, in April, supposedly it dies with the hotter weather. When it gets warm, historically, that has been able to kill the virus. People are getting better. They're all getting better. And the 15 within a couple of days is going to be down to close to zero.
It's going to disappear. One day, it's like a miracle. It will disappear.
And you'll be fine.
They're going to have vaccines, I think, relatively soon. Not only the vaccines, but the therapies. Therapies is sort of another word for cure.
We're talking about very small numbers in the United States. Our numbers are lower than just about anybody. It's really working out. And a lot of good things are going to happen. And we are responding with great speed and professionalism. It's going to go away. Yeah, no, I don't take responsibility at all. We're going to all be great. We're going to be so good. This came up, we came up so suddenly. This is a pandemic. I felt it was a pandemic long before it was called a pandemic. All you had to do is look at other countries.
The coronavirus, you know that, right? Coronavirus. And this is their new hoax. We're 15 people in this massive country. And because of the fact that we went early, we could have had a lot more than that. We're doing great. Our country is doing so great.
The president's very optimistic talk yesterday and again today that there would be therapeutic drugs available to patients immediately. Game-changing. Now, that's what the president said. Of course, his own chief infectious disease, Dr. Tony Fauci, disagrees with him. The president, instead of answering that question, and then Peter Alexander said, talk to the American people out there who are at home, who are frightened. Give them some advice. Instead of offering that advice and that comfort, the president did this.
What do you say to Americans who are scared, though? I guess nearly 200 dead, 14,000 who are sick, millions, as you witnessed, who are scared right now. What do you say to Americans who are watching you right now who are scared?
I say that you're a terrible reporter. That's what I say.
I
think it's a very nasty question, and I think it's a very bad signal that you're putting out to the American people. The American people are looking for answers, and they're looking for hope. And you're doing sensationalism, and the same with NBC and Comcast. I don't call it Comcast. I call it Concast. Let me just for whom you work. Let me just tell you something. That's really bad reporting. And you ought to get back to reporting instead of sensationalism. Let's see if it works. It might and it might not. I happen to feel good about it, but who knows? I've been right a lot. Let's see what happens.
I sat in that room for just shy of 10 years. It was a perfectly valid question, and what the president did to Peter Alexander is reprehensible. The American people are looking for answers. They do want hope. They do want support. Mr. President, that was a very fair question.
Our starting point this morning, another stock market crash on Wednesday with the Dow Jones again falling into a new correction. The closing figures wiped out the entire gains made since the U.S. President Donald Trump's inauguration. The closing figures wiped out the entire gains made since the U.S. President Donald Trump's inauguration.
The pandemic is spooking markets. As for the closing numbers, yet another rough session on Wall Street, as you said, sinking to a 3-year low as worldwide cases of the coronavirus topped 200,000.
inherited a broken, obsolete system. The Obama administration made a decision on testing that turned out to be very detrimental to what we're doing, and we undid that decision a few days ago so that the testing can take place in a much more accurate and rapid fashion. Many administrations preceded me. For the most part, they did very little. We took over an obsolete, broken testing system that wouldn't have worked for even a small problem, let alone one of the biggest pandemics in history. By the way, the virus, they're working hard. Looks like by April, in theory, when it gets a little warmer, it miraculously goes away. I hope that's true. Because of all we've done, the risk to the American people remains very low. People die from the flu, and this is very unusual. And it is a little bit different, but in some ways it's easier, and in some ways it's a little bit tougher. But we have it so well under control. It's going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear. And from our shores, it could get worse before it gets better. It could maybe go away. We'll see what happens. Nobody really knows. Every one of these doctors said, how do you know so much about this? Maybe I have a natural ability. Maybe I should have done that instead of running for president.